It is time now for us to move on with a review of a movie I just finished watching on Netflix. It just premiered today. It's called Anon, and it's directed by Andrew Niccol, who brought us the incredible Gattaca. And he wrote it, produced it, and directed Anon, and he is a force to be reckoned with. This is an incredibly intelligent director who has a predilection for building cool, moody, and kind of dark science fiction. And he's done it again with Anon. Stars Clive, Owen, and Amanda Seyfried, or Seyfried. Don't know exactly how to say her last name. And it's all about this future where people cannot live anonymously. And the movie deals with the fact that we have to kind of give over all of our identity and everything about us to the ether, to this sort of more advanced version of the internet. And people walk around the streets and they basically have all of these implants in their brains and in their eyes, and everybody that they look at, every surface that they see has information on it that is sort of captured in our augmented brains. And we can look at a person and we can see their entire statistics and where they work and how old they are and all that stuff, probably what they earn and everything. And so what Andrew Niccol has done, he shot it, I think, on the streets of New York, but it's not really about a place, because I think what happens in this future world that Niccol has created for this movie is that everything is kind of the same, and there's no signage, no physical signage, there's no branding, and the streets are quiet because all of the information that we collect. And it's basically an extrapolation of us all being addicted to our smartphones today, but all of the information that we collect is done silently, and it's just done through this augmented reality of us walking around and seeing all this data and stuff. So all the billboards are gone. You don't hear people chattering or talking in the streets. All the vehicles are they're sort of classic retro vehicles that have been redone with hydro cells in there. So it's a kind of an eerie quiet that you see throughout this movie, and I thought that was a fantastic design choice. And Niccol has also done the impossible and created these street scenes shot on location where they also feel incredibly almost gray and quiet and silent and not populated with lots of people. So must have picked some great location scouts and shot at weird hours to be able to get crowded city streets emptied, and everybody's sort of wearing these out-of-time period-type clothing, suits and hats and things like that, so you can't really place a time period. But there's that emptiness and that stillness and that quietness permeating throughout this movie. And what we're able to do, and what the people in the movie are able to do, is go into each other's perspective and see through their eyes. And so it's impossible to pull off crimes, which kind of echoes a little bit of the stuff that Spielberg did with Minority Report. Everybody has access to that data, especially the detectives and constables and things like that. It's a shared universe where everybody is accountable and everybody is a part of it. And so when people are anonymous, as Amanda Seyfried is in this movie, they really stand out. And she has this ability. She's a hacker that can kind of change in real time what people are seeing through their eyes. And there's sequences in the film where Clive Owen is like, I can't trust my eyes. I can't believe what I'm seeing. So it's a pretty cool, psychological meditation and definitely an examination of our obsession with getting all kinds of data as we walk through the streets in real life today. This really kind of, jumps forward a few decades and tries to imagine a world where we don't speak to each other. We can just sort of look at each other and sort of know what we want to convey, and we communicate through textual impulses that are just flashed across our shared consciousness. It's surreal, and like Gattaca, it kind of sticks with you. It devolves a little bit into a traditional whodunit. At one point in the script, Clive Owen even says that it's a whodunit, but it's so smart and it's so topical and it's so elegantly crafted, just like Gattaca was. It's got a resonance, and I really enjoyed the movie. And that's a plus mark for Netflix and the feature films that they've been making, because a lot of them have not been so great. I love The Ritual, though. That's another one that you need to go and track down. But Anon is actually really cool, and I think it's worth your time. I think the performances are pretty cool. There's a sexiness to the movie as well, because everything is so stylish, and there's a maturity about it. But not unlike Minority Report, it kind of undoes itself towards the end. It's still a cool flick, just like Minority Report is, but it doesn't have the budgets that even Gattaca had. You know, it seems more hemmed in, but there's just an imaginative kind of explosion of ideas in this movie that lets you kind of go along with it for the ride. You know, you can kind of imagine the greater world around this film, which is very cool. So I'm gonna give Anon an 8.5 out of 10, and I recommend that you check it out on Netflix as soon as you can.